The discovery of Zeta 12. The cold void of space stretched out infinitely in every direction, a vast and unbroken sea of stars, planets, and the unknown. For centuries, humanity had explored the stars, colonizing distant worlds and unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos. Yet, no one had anticipated the discovery of Zeta 12, a planet that would shatter the very laws of physics itself. It all started with a routine scan from the starship Valiant, a massive research vessel stationed on the fringes of human space. Dr. Aria Winters, an astrophysicist with a passion for deep space exploration, was the first to notice the anomaly. At first, it was a blip, a tiny distortion in the fabric of space-time. But as the Valiant drew closer, the anomaly grew more defined, becoming an unmistakable signal from a planet in a previously unexplored system. "I don't believe it," Aria whispered under her breath as the data streamed across her terminal. The readings defied every known law of physics. The planet's gravity was inconsistent, fluctuating in ways that were impossible to explain. Its atmosphere was composed of gases never before encountered. And most startling of all, the planet's surface was covered in enormous crystalline structures, glowing with an eerie, pulsating light. The captain of the Valiant, Captain Nicholas Hayes, was equally stunned when Aria shared her findings. He had led many missions to the farthest reaches of human space, but this was something entirely new, something beyond their understanding. "Prepare a landing party," he ordered. "We're going to that planet." The crystal mystery, the descent to Zeta 12 was treacherous. The planet's erratic gravity made it difficult to maintain a stable course, and strange energy readings interfered with the ship's navigational systems. But after hours of struggle, the Valiant finally touched down on the alien surface. The planet's surface was unlike anything any of them had ever seen. Massive crystal spires towered into the sky, some as tall as skyscrapers, their sharp edges refracting the dim light of the distant star. The air was thick with an unnatural haze, casting everything in an otherworldly glow. The crew donned their environmental suits and stepped out, their boots crunching against the strange glass-like ground. Aria, driven by a thirst for knowledge, was the first to approach the largest of the crystal structures. She reached out with a gloved hand and touched its surface. To her surprise, the crystal was warm to the touch, as if it were alive. Her heart raced with excitement and fear. This was no ordinary planet. It was something far beyond their comprehension. "You think the crystals are sentient?" asked Lieutenant Marco Reed, a veteran of many dangerous expeditions. "I don't know," Aria replied, her voice tinged with awe. "But I intend to find out." The team began collecting samples, but as they moved deeper into the landscape, they noticed something even stranger. The crystals seemed to pulse, almost as though they were reacting to their presence. The air itself vibrated with an unseen energy, and the ground beneath their feet began to tremble. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, emanating from the heart of the largest crystal formation. The crew looked at each other in confusion and fear. What was happening? Was this a natural phenomenon or something more? Without warning, the ground cracked open, revealing a hidden underground network of tunnels. The energy in the air spiked. As the crew stared in shock, something was calling them down. The heart of Zeta 12. The tunnels beneath Zeta 12 were unlike anything they had encountered in all their years of exploration. The walls were smooth, almost perfectly polished, and the air was thick with a strange metallic scent. It felt as if the planet itself was alive, its heart pulsing beneath the surface. As they ventured deeper, the hum grew louder, guiding them through the winding passageways. The crew's flashlights flickered, casting eerie shadows against the crystalline walls. The temperature was rising, and the very ground beneath them seemed to shift and move, as if the planet was breathing. They soon found themselves in a massive cavern, the size of a small city. In the center of the cavern stood a towering structure, made entirely of crystal. But this was no ordinary crystal. It was alive. The entire formation pulsed with an intense energy, and strange symbols flickered across its surface, as if it were trying to communicate. Aria approached the structure cautiously, her heart pounding in her chest. This, this is what I've been searching for, she murmured. A civilization beyond anything we've ever encountered. The team gathered around, the structure, trying to make sense of the symbols. They were unlike any language known to humanity, but as they studied them, the energy in the cavern intensified, almost as though the crystals were reacting to their presence. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the core of the crystal, striking Arya directly. She gasped as a vision flooded. Her mind, images of an ancient alien race, their bodies crystalline like the structures around them, their minds linked in a collective consciousness. She saw their rise, their fall, and their connection to the very fabric of the universe itself. The vision was overwhelming, but Arya managed to piece together a chilling truth. The crystals were not merely a natural phenomenon. They were the remnants of an advanced civilization that had unlocked the secrets of the cosmos. And now, it seemed, their consciousness was awakening. The awakening. The beam of light faded, leaving Arya shaken but strangely enlightened. She had glimpsed the history of the planet's long-lost inhabitants, a race that had transcended the physical form and become one with the crystals. They had unlocked the ability to manipulate space-time itself, bending the very laws of physics to their will. As Arya tried to process the flood of information, Captain Hayes ordered the team to pull back to the ship. But before they could leave, a deep rumble echoed through the cavern. The ground cracked open once more, and massive crystal-like creatures began to emerge from the earth. They were unlike anything the crew had ever seen. Giant, towering beings, made entirely of the same shimmering crystal that covered the planet. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and their movements were deliberate, as if they were aware of the intruders. "Get back to the ship," Hayes barked, drawing his weapon. The crew scrambled to retreat, but the crystal creatures moved. Faster than they anticipated. They were surrounded. Arya's mind raced. She understood now. The creatures were not hostile. They were protectors, guardians of the ancient technology that had once powered the civilization of Zeta-12. But what did they want? Why were they so desperate to protect the planet? As the team made their way toward the surface, Arya had one final desperate thought. We have to understand them. We have to learn from them if we want to survive. The Crystal Network, the Valiant, had barely lifted off when the crystal beings began to react. Their massive forms moved with incredible speed, and the entire planet seemed to shift in response. Arya watched in disbelief as the sky above them crackled with energy, and massive energy waves rippled through the atmosphere. "The planet is alive," she whispered in awe. But this was no ordinary life. Zeta-12 had become a nexus of energy, a focal point of the universe itself. The crystal creatures were not just protectors. They were the conduits through which the planet's ancient civilization had manipulated the fabric of space-time. And now, that power was awakening once again. But it wasn't just the crystals that were awakening. Arya had felt it. An intelligence, a consciousness that spanned the entire planet, reaching out to them. It had been dormant for millennia, but now it was aware of their presence, and it was calling to them. As the Valiant ascended into orbit, Arya had one final realization. Zeta-12 was not just a planet. It was a key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe itself. The future of humanity. The crew of the Valiant barely escaped the planet's gravitational pull as the crystal creatures continued to pulse with energy below. The planet itself had become a living, breathing entity, a force of unimaginable power. Arya sat in her quarters, staring out at the stars. The data they had collected was beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. Zeta-12 was not just an anomaly, it was a gateway to a new understanding of the universe, one that would change everything. But as she pondered the implications, she couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface. The planet's true power, the full extent of its ancient civilization, remained hidden. And now, with the awakening of the crystal beings, it was only a matter of time before Zeta-12's secrets were revealed to the universe. The future of humanity was no longer just about survival. It was about understanding, about reaching for the stars, and the unknown beyond. Zeta 12 had given them a glimpse of what was possible, and they were ready to answer the call.